Erica Lorraine Spencer. It's December 17, 2020. This is the P.O.C. This is ongoing real-time documentation of the public entity that is the state of California engaged in a ceaseless criminal monitoring system that is legally referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring. It would, aka gang stalking, aka contract stalking, aka state organized stalking, whereby they are monitoring with communication devices. So it is a monitoring system which requires constant ceaseless stalking conduct, and that is by a state, a public entity, which is a new legal concept never addressed under federal legislation. And this is my documentation of how a public entity engages in that criminal system. I am currently at BONVIEW and Emporia, where the state is using the train. This is a means of interstate commerce. The state is flying directly over also by plane. That's what you hear in the background. This is called P.O.C. That is a Southwest Airlines plane, blue body, red, yellow tail, flying directly over the train, right over my head where I stand, while I am going to list all the third-party group stalkers that are in relevant position monitoring with that state that is using this train as a means of amplified audible activity. The train beginning in motion at the moment I approach this railroad track. This is intentional conduct using the train as a means of stalking, as a means of monitoring. It's not a coincidence that the plane is also flying directly over my head. Again, when I'm at Mercy House, the venue that I'm headed toward, that's where they'll be flying over that venue and over my head there. This is federal group stalking and monitoring. Third parties in relevant position on both sides of the railroad track. This is a means of constant audible activity. Understand this. Okay, so this is all elements are present. The state stalking directly and stalking vicariously, and these are the third parties in relevant positions stalking vicariously on behalf of that public entity. License plate 7 Uncle Queen Jack 427, 8 Thomas 41013, 8 Sam Igloo Bob 639, 8 Sam Adam David 297. They're all lined up in the street in their vehicles, creating light activity, ongoing audible activity, the state providing additional audible activity, flying, hovering over the train as it's in motion. They all are engaged in monitoring with communication devices. 5 King Paul King 664, 8 Edwards 71502. And you have, I am literally in front of the nearest address. Oh, there are a private address as well. They're monitoring in their residences, in their businesses. I am only going through the immediate surroundings. So at 201 BONVIEW, 133 BONVIEW. Let me get these license plates of these residences because they are all monitoring together. Understand this is the way that system works. 6 Thomas Paul Nancy 404, 8 Apple Victor Charlie 674. That is at 201 BONVIEW. At 133 BONVIEW. License plate 8 Karen Wendy Nancy 093, 8 Mary Frank Apple 854. That's at 133 BONVIEW, right across from off of Emporia. I'm at BONVIEW and Emporia, where these private residences are located. 125 BONVIEW, license plate 7 Jack Charlie Charlie 837. So you've got Dietz. This is a third-party company using their company vehicles, monitoring with the state. License plate 19036 Victor 1. Jack 3055HY Western Express is the truck, the logo on the truck, the trailer on the truck also says Western Express. Also be clear, they are all documented on the traffic cameras, which I also referenced upon walking south onto BONVIEW toward Mercy House, third-party facilitating venue. And this is also speaking to the radius, understanding my exact location and the time of day, and understanding that everything that is being documented is pursuant to monitoring. You're talking about the road work, providing blinking signs and the signage in the street. They're monitoring. That's a means of monitoring. This is monitoring headquarters because this is where I am, and they're doing it with communication devices, and this is speaking to a radius, okay? I've got 5 Robert Victor Victor 201. I've got, and the license plate on that Western Express Inc. Truck. That's a large size truck. It does not look like a California license plate. Just want to be clear on that. The back plate is Uncle 859924. That's a Tennessee plate. Okay, and this is beside Dollar General. Understand that's a third-party facilitating venue. Okay, the state is creating a large amount of audible activity whereby they are monitoring, and everyone in relevant position, you're speaking to a radius, monitoring with communication devices, this is how they are monitoring. And this is why the state hovered over me while the train is in motion. This is P.O.C. While I continue to walk to the third-party facilitating venue, Mercy House at 435 South BONVIEW, and understand the monitoring is ongoing while that train is in motion. And also this is lining up. So this is completely being surrounded as third parties are literally in traffic in line. Understand that's called alignment on both sides. And this also causes for ongoing crossing a path as the train passes and then traffic comes on by. They're all just crossing paths with communication devices after that extended amount of audible activity is provided, monitoring while the train is in motion. That's P.O.C. 9 George 02660 52485 Victor 1 1469659 Ontario, City of Ontario. 8 Guerra, that's Guerra. 8 Paul Frank Yogurt 835 64410 Henry 2. A Robert Benjamin Yogurt Zebra 2 6 Nancy Queen Henry 868. This is a large size truck. These are used to create a large amount of audible activity as well. 9 George 00322. Looks like Huachi Trucking, California 550050 is the California license number on that truck. Using it to monitor. Engaging federal group stalking monitoring. USPS again, 88-71456. And they are all driving toward the traffic cameras at Allen and Holt Boulevard. Time Corp, US.2407449, license 31378 Nancy 2, license 82952 Thomas 2, 7 Henry Robert George 290, 8 Mary Henry Victor 712, 1218 9 Wendy 2. This is someone using a John Deere construction truck creating light activity as he's crossing path. He's going toward the traffic cameras. That's P.O.C. It's City of Ontario trailer. It's got the number 8537 on it. Ontario Police crossing path, license plate 1546950, vehicle number 1894, loitering in relevant position. Understand this is P.O.C. and let me go ahead and get an image of that. This is group stalking by the police. More of the same, the demonically possessed state directly stalking. Again, let me get that license again. 1546950, Ontario Police. Driving after crossing the crossing path at Allen, they're on the traffic cameras, monitoring with every other third party. This is called group stalking and monitoring, federal group stalking and monitoring. And the documentation is plenty. It is 9:40 a.m. Yes, it's 9:40 a.m. And so let me get a picture of this. This is another reason why the state uses the train. It creates the buildup of traffic. Understand this is a means of systematic monitoring and surrounding while on the street. That's what this is. It is 9:42 a.m. I did capture a video of the picture of the buildup of traffic, which is intentional creation of ongoing presence, stalking presence. Remember, third parties are one group, so they are to be isolated at federal prosecution for their engagement in criminal monitoring and facilitation and any affirmative acts of sexual molestation while they're engaged in criminal monitoring, acting with the state. But also, this is a means of remaining present. So this is loitering. Remaining present on the street, and this is the means of what I was explaining in the video that I just captured. And Ontario Police Department, the license plate that I named in that image as well, group stalking with the rest of the third parties. So this is direct and vicarious state presence, which is always the case. What I'm saying is that I have a visual, and this is ongoing documentation of the same. Using the train, means of interstate commerce. Using the planes, means of interstate commerce. Using communication devices to monitor, which is the significance of this buildup of third parties in traffic. And using the means of amplified plane and train audible activity. This is going to monitoring with communication devices. This is in violation of 18 U.S.C. Section 42A. And also that which is fully intended to prosecute a public entity and all of the criminal and demonic tactics that it engages in with monitoring. This is an entirely malicious system, which I have fully exposed in all of its forms. Let me get this license, 8 Charlie Queen Edward 765. And this is I.I.S legislation, which is designed to be fully enforced against the state of California and every third-party group stalker that are actually demons engaging in criminal activity, but not in any way impervious to being prosecuted in a federal court of law. This is P.O.C. It is 9:44 a.m. and this is documentation en route to the third-party facilitating venue, Mercy House, where they are monitoring me inside and all around in concert with this traffic that are all together listening to me, acting with the state that is flying over my head at that venue, flying over the venue and directing light all around and inside of the venue. It's P.O.C. 10:09 a.m. That's called stalking with activity. That loud crash occurs at the same time that I begin touching my phone. That's called stalking with activity. It's 10:09 a.m. and that is the second train. That the one that is right behind the venue, and that is called using the train as a means of stalking with activity. Also, they are monitoring using the train, just like when I was here before and Ontario police were present. What you want to also see here is what I'm capturing. I just took images of that plane flying directly over me. That's an Amazon Prime flying directly over my head. You think it's a coincidence seconds later after I finished that video? It's not. They're monitoring my documentation. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is the prosecution of the state of California. And this is that third-party facilitating venue, Mercy House, okay? They are monitoring me just like every other person in this, in the state, everywhere that I go. This criminal system is in operation, and that's what I'm documenting the evidence of. That was an Amazon Prime, as I've already previously documented. They use their vehicles, their employees in those vans monitoring. They use their planes, providing instrumentalities for federal group stalking and monitoring. They will be prosecuted for that. It is 10:13 a.m. All right, it is 11:21 a.m. This is documentation of bathroom monitoring by the state while remaining inside of the restroom at third-party facilitating venue Mercy Inn. The state flying over and amplifying the sound of airplane engines roaring inside of the bathroom 6 times. And this is also the use of the train. Also, while third parties are in relevant position and the documented presence of the state's fake sun object, it is directly targeting this area. This is called engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring while you are in the bathroom or any private space, physically indisposed, while they are listening to you. They meaning the public entity itself and third-party group stalkers who are also listening. This is how they are able to engage in the elements with simultaneity to whatever the target individual is doing. That is another plane. That is the 7th one. And again, you have that ongoing stalking by the state as it listens to me document. That is the plane flying directly over the venue again. It is 11:40. Let me see. 11:41 when I stepped out. That is P.O.C. right now. I'm sorry, 11:22 a.m. This is called bathroom monitoring. This is attributed to that entity that is engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring with the state. And that is, I'm going to capture a picture of that. The plane literally flies over the train, flies over me where I'm at the bathroom, and makes a sharp turn, remaining in relevant position. That's what I just took images of. That is listening to me document, engaging and monitoring as I'm documenting their criminal conduct, which is sexual group assault and battery, while they are monitoring me while physically indisposed inside of the bathroom, okay? That is the plane sounding. That is the 6th time while I was in the bathroom. This is the 7th time as I step out and specifically document it. And that is while also audible activity created right here on Washington in front of the venue, acting in concert with the state that is repeatedly flying over. That is literally patrolling, engaging in that demonic pacing conduct, and they're doing it via airplane. Just like a person walking past you over and over and over and over and over again. That would be very, very weird. That's what the state does via aircraft. That's what the state is doing as a single group using automobiles, trucks, cars. It's demonic activity. It is criminal monitoring. That's what the state is doing right now. It is demonic activity. It is sexual violation of a group nature that is sexually violent and an exceptionally violent crime that the state is engaged in. While they are monitoring me, aware that I am physically indisposed, I am at third-party facilitating venue Mercy House at 435 South Venue. It's 11:24 a.m. And again, the absence of the coincidence that the train is in use twice. So let me put 6 airplanes amplified in audible activity inside of the bathroom. The train sounding twice, meaning in motion 2 times while I'm in the bathroom. This was in less than 10 minutes, okay? This is the pattern of conduct in operation while you are in a private space. The state directing its impossible light activity, its literal fake sun object for criminal purposes, monitoring with communication devices at the immediate environment, in the immediate environment where you are physically indisposed, while they're engaged in monitoring you, aware that you are physically indisposed. This is the sexually motivated the sexual group violence that a public entity, this is the state of California, engages in concert with the people of the state who are all listening to you. This is that exceptional sexual violence. It is exceptionally violent because of the group conduct that is inherent to everything that the state is doing. They do not act individually, they act as a group. They are all listening to you use the bathroom. They're all listening to you undress. They're all listening to you put your clothes back on. They're all listening to you wipe yourself, wash yourself, whatever you have to do with yourself. They're listening to all that and understand the behavioral pattern is that which is occurring while you're in that private space. So everything that I am pointing out with regard to federal group stalking and monitoring is equally applicable. It is all occurring while you are in the bathroom. That's called bathroom monitoring. This is the sexually motivated, predatory, perverted, and demented aspect of what is demonic activity and what is criminal monitoring. The equivalent of a touch of your person, a violation of your person. And the state is, again, the incredibly threatening stalker that is touching you through engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring. And again, the state is touching you vicariously and directly. This is the government, and then it is also acting through every single person in relevant position who are all listening to you. Okay, they are all capable, they're all listening at the same time, monitoring with their communication devices and keeping tabs on you while you are in that private space. The target individual has absolutely no privacy, and this is the sexually violent aspect of criminal monitoring in violation of 18 U.S.C. section 42A, and I.I.S. legislation is designed to address this, which has never been addressed under federal legislation, and understand that the sexual violation of the target individual is very real and to be appreciated under federal law, and that public entity to be prosecuted as the sexual offender that it is, a perpetual sex offender, and engage in criminal facilitation of sexual violence to that targeted individual. Okay, it's 11:26 a.m. and that is P.O.C. Images captured of the train in motion for the second time while I'm in the bathroom, and the plane that is not coincidentally, mind you, flying directly over me, making a sharp turn in front of me, remaining in relevant position while its fake sun object remains at the same place, aiming light onto this venue. That is called P.O.C. All right, 11:27 a.m. That is the state flying over again, directly over my head as I'm sitting outside. That is a white commercial airplane with a blue tail, yellow trim around the blue, flying directly over the venue where I remain at 435 South BONVIEW. This is Mercy House, and as I've been sitting outside on the bench, right beside the entrance, the third parties inside and outside, this third party facilitating venue is armed with surveillance cameras, ongoing monitoring through traffic, ongoing monitoring through the entrance and exit, and patrolling conduct of the employees and the patrons. Using the dumpster, you'll see them passing by, creating a loud audible activity. The state flying over by plane immediately following that. They're monitoring, engaging in the conversation outside, audible activity while they're all around, and the planes are repeatedly flying over my head. That's monitoring. The employees that goes into the closet that's directly aligned to where I'm sitting on the bench. This is all on camera, which I also referenced. She's monitoring. And this is P.O.C. That was a white female, and she walks from the backside into these two doors, and then she enters beside me. She's aware that I'm documenting as well, so she walks into the front entrance. That's P.O.C. It is currently 12:06 p.m. and this is P.O.C. as it's occurring at a third-party facilitating video, Mercy House. This is P.O.C. Plane is flying past. They're patrolling in and out. They, as in Mercy House, third-party group facilitating venue. This is the pattern of conduct. All elements are present. And the external appearance is taking in donations as they're patrolling in and out of the door, with simultaneity to what I'm doing on my communication device, which is exchanging information between my phones for documentation. And this is just one example of what they are continuously engaging in, monitoring. They're patrolling in and out in sync with the planes that are flying over the venue. This is P.O.C. It is 1:13 p.m. Patrolling in the back hallway, patrolling in and out of the front door. Remember, the state's fake sun object is aimed on this venue. This is all intentional conduct for monitoring. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, This is how they monitor at this venue. Remember, monitoring takes on the outward appearance. It is adapted to the facts, the circumstances relevant to the particular venue. Monitoring in a grocery store versus monitoring in a library versus monitoring at a hotel versus monitoring in a private residence versus monitoring on a bus or on the train, such as Metrolink. And here we are monitoring at what is shelter services, a food pantry / homeless service provision. Mercy House. This is P.O.C. This is P.O.C. Plane flying right over the venue. They're patrolling inside and outside. Plane is flying directly over the venue in alignment to me right now, while they are keeping the door open. And what you see on the surveillance cameras is the appropriated appearance, where all elements of monitoring are present. Patrolling in and out, keeping the door open, amplified audible activity by the plane with simultaneity to what I happen to be doing. This is not a coincidence. This is criminal monitoring adapted to the factual circumstances of running a homeless shelter or a food pantry or whatever Mercy House calls themselves. I call them group stalkers. They're criminals and they are sex offenders. It is the plane that engaged in flying west and then making a sharp turn to proceed flying south, remaining aligned to me as it's flying over the venue, and that is amplified audible activity while they keep the door open, which you'll see on the surveillance cameras. And this is occurring while I'm transferring information on my phone via Bluetooth, turning my phone on and off. And what you're seeing is an entering and exiting in the hallways, creating all manner of activity and crossing paths, creating light activity as they enter and exit the venue. This is monitoring. This is federal group stalking and monitoring. A third-party facilitating venue, Mercy House. It is 2:07 p.m. All right, December 17th, it's Thursday, 2020. This is to wrap up the podcast for today with regard to the ongoing ceaseless engagement in federal group stalking and monitoring by the state of California as I continue to document it in real time. And again, my podcasts are accompanied by images and video, which I am diligently seeking to attach to my Facebook posts. I also publish them on Twitter and Instagram. And also be clear, the state that is engaged in criminal monitoring is also engaged in criminal obstruction, seeking at every turn to try to obstruct the publishing of that evidence against that public entity engaged in ceaseless monitoring with communication devices. So with regard to leaving third-party facilitating venue Mercy House, located at 435 South BONVIEW in Ontario, California, again, I captured the airplane that flew directly over my head as I was exiting the venue, which I captured the video of. The third party, who I also captured in that video, was engaged in monitoring at that time, but also present while the state was flying over me, sitting on the bench in a helicopter and then sounding the train. That was audible activity while she's in relevant position and the state is flying over my head in a helicopter like it is now and sounding the train. Okay, the same exact pattern of conduct, which is why she was documented. She's a third-party group stalker, and that's what I documented as I'm leaving the third-party facilitating venue Mercy House, where I was subject to monitoring all day, just as my documentation reflects. And that is federal group stalking and monitoring with communication devices where all three elements remain present, and the state is engaged in ongoing criminal obstruction in addition to that. As I traveled from Mercy House back up to the Ontario OVITT Family Library, it was P.O.C. the entire way. I did capture images, which is going to be valuable with regard to the timestamp of my presence, my ongoing presence in relevant position to what are the traffic cameras at Allen and BONVIEW and HOLT. That is ongoing traffic. It is all in relevant position, and the traffic is instrumental in monitoring while at Mercy House. Engaged in ongoing relevant positioning, stalking with activity using their automobiles, using the lights on the automobiles, the state directing impossible light activity, placing its fake sun object over the venue, ceaselessly flying over me and over the venue, and the state amplifying sound using the trains in order to engage in ceaseless monitoring at that venue. So that is relevant with regard to my leaving that venue. And I did capture images of that, the U-Haul at the corner of BONVIEW, which well, actually BONVIEW turns into Allen, or Allen turns into BONVIEW, however you want to look at that, at U.HAUL at the corner of HOLT and Allen / BONVIEW, engaged in criminal monitoring, using their trucks in the at that corner in relevant position, blinking trucks, the same pattern of conduct, creating light activity while the state is flying over. Ongoing traffic is light activity, and ongoing audible activity, that is ceaseless monitoring that I'm capturing in images. That is federal group stalking and monitoring before your eyes. And it is on the traffic cameras with regard to my location and relevant positioning and understanding who all is engaged in that criminal system based on where I'm at that time of day. And that is also the value of that documentation. And I did capture those images while I was at that intersection. As I continue walking that would be walking east on Holt Boulevard. I did also capture images of more Ontario police officers engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring, and specifically at the intersection of Sultana and Holt Boulevard, and that Ontario police officer acting with third-party group stalkers. Again, that the police represent the state, while the at Stereo City, at the same time that the police are directly in relevant position, again, sitting at the traffic light is relevant positioning. It is just like sitting in your car at any other location engaging in stalking. You're just doing it at the traffic light. Monitoring is ceaseless, okay? And so Ontario police blatantly engaged in stalking, engaged in group stalking and monitoring at that traffic light. And what you pay attention to, which is what I documented, what I engaged in narrating in real time as it was occurring, his immediate focus on me. I could have been FaceTiming. I could have been taking a picture of anything. He does not know. The point is that you do not know what I am doing on my phone. People hold up their phone and move their mouth speaking all the time. It does not mean that I am focused on you. They are focused on me because they are monitoring. Okay. He knows exactly what I'm doing. He is the state engaging in monitoring at Sultana and, Holt Boulevard at the time that I am present. And what I also capture are the immediate surroundings, also satisfying the criminal elements of monitoring. The demonic use of light. Again, that blinking light, you're seeing it in the form of hazard lights on a vehicle. Understand that's demonic. It is in a form that is accepted, which we have been conditioned to understand to be serving a protective purpose. And it does. I'm not saying that hazard lights are valueless, that they don't present any value with regard to safety. But what I am saying is understanding that the engagement in the elements of monitoring are demonic, and that blinking light is a demonic feature of the system, and it is present while he is in relevant position aligned to me, and he immediately turns and starts speaking toward me like I know him. I do not know him, and he does this as I begin documenting. He knows exactly what I am doing. This is why he is focused on me, and it is not a coincidence that the light activity is created also in relevant position to me, and also understand that the moving traffic as the vehicles begin driving past as the light turns green, and also as they're driving past on Hall Boulevard, all of that is light activity as the vehicles are crossing path and their headlights are on. That is light activity as well. They're in relevant position, and again, you're not looking at third parties as individuals. They are one group, so that is a consistent crossing of path over and over and over again. This is patrolling with light activity. And in addition to the hazard lights right next to me while the police are in front of me. And then in addition to that, Stereo City, if you pay attention to the video, immediately starts blasting music. This is creating audible activity. That is monitoring that is occurring right there. And what I also pointed out is the fact that the state is engaging in that conduct, and this blatant conduct that it knows very well that I am documenting as an effort to try to distract me. The state would prefer for me to stand at that corner and just keep documenting rather than proceed and publish my documentation. Understand this. This is that fatalist, defeatist type mentality. This demonic influence operating over a group of people, knowing full well what I am documenting, and seeking at every effort, even engaging in more conduct that is evidence against itself in order to try to engage in criminal obstruction. It is idiotic because I document it and I publish it as well. So that was P.O.C. at Sultana and Holt Boulevard, which I captured in video, and that's Stereo City, engaging in light activity like I documented while the helicopter and the plane and police were at that corner, acting pursuant to the pattern of conduct. This is not a coincidence. And then today, Stereo City blasting its music while police are right in front of me, while light activity is right beside me, while traffic is passing, creating additional light activity. I am being surrounded with all three elements, and I am subject to criminal monitoring. That is federal group stalking and monitoring. That is demonic activity. As I continue to walk down Holt Boulevard, what you have is also what I documented, and also you're going to want to look at my Facebook Live videos that I posted, captured at around 6:30 p.m. But upon my arrival to the library area, what you have is the presence of Ontario Police, and what you have is the same engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring. Understand, the exact same conduct that they are engaged, the same stalking conduct, the same monitoring conduct. All right, but they are doing it under the guise of, and it is no guise, because you're stripping down, and that's what I am doing for you. I am stripping it down to the bare bone elements, which is exactly what is legally relevant, okay, when you are analyzing the elements of monitoring with communication devices and understanding what federal group stalking monitoring is. It is monitoring, and it is monitoring under a malicious system, okay, and that is demonic activity. And so under this quote-unquote special event calling for the presence of the police, who are using their lights, surrounding in relevant position, and while you have them using the turn circle, while you have a Santa Claus present, and the vehicles are literally patrolling, creating ongoing light activity, while they are present and remaining, while all manner of helicopters flying over my head, flying all around at the Ontario Town Square as I exit the library, airplanes constantly flying around, the same exact criminal conduct, the same impossible light activity, because headlights from over 50 feet away are not touching my person while I'm sitting on the inside on a bench closer toward Euclid Avenue. Headlights from C Street as they are turning at the turn circle are not touching my person. They are not blinding me as I'm looking down at my phone. This is the state that is engaging in that touching. This is that same molestation with light serving a criminal purpose while you are engaging in stalking, being of inherently threatening criminal by doing so. So this is a stalker that is very threatening, that is touching you while they're monitoring you. That's the legal significance of that. And it is impossible light activity, because that is not headlights that are doing that. But this is the criminal partnership underway at the same time that the third parties are repeatedly crossing path, because that's the significance of what they are doing in that turn circle as they are on the external. This is the guise under which they're engaging in criminal monitoring, taking pictures with Santa Claus in their cars while they are engaged in the exact same conduct that I continue to document on a daily basis. Okay? And understand, that is the demonic activity. That is the malice under which this system is engaged in on a ceaseless basis. And that is what I captured in my Facebook Live. But I captured it on video upon my arrival at what was C Street and Lemon, speaking immediately to what was P.O.C. I am already readily familiar with this malicious conduct. That is criminal monitoring. That does not stop. And so, like I have already stated, regardless of what you appear to be doing on the outside, okay, regardless of how you want to paint it, a bazooka gun is still a bazooka gun, whether you paint it bubblegum pink and put glitter on it, and put a purple ribbon around the tip of it. It is still a bazooka gun. It is still designed to harm you. It is still a threat to your life, okay? And that is exactly what the state is engaged in, using a Santa Claus as the outward form, while third-party group stalkers are present, vicariously acting with the state that is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, stalking by helicopter, stalking by airplane, stalking by police, who are surrounding with lights on their vehicles and amplifying the sound of the train, and using impossible light activity. They are engaged in all the elements of criminal monitoring, and it is P.O.C. And the state is also engaged in criminal facilitation by assisting and aiding and creating ways for the people of the state of California to engage in that criminal threatening conduct with it. Okay, that's P.O.C. that was occurring, and that's what I documented upon my arrival, and that's exactly what I also captured in my Facebook Live, which I already published onto Facebook. And so it is P.O.C., as I stated, at around 4:20 when I arrived around this area. And it is also P.O.C., the same P.O.C., just like I stated before, as I captured more of it in real time on Facebook Live. So you're going to want to look at that as well. P.O.C. Continues, and P.O.C. is ceaseless. P.O.C. is the pattern of conduct of the state of California engaged in monitoring with communication devices. And they are using the internet, they are using planes and trains and helicopters, they are using cars and trucks, they're using the roadways and the freeways. They are using all means of interstate commerce to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring. And that is what I am continuously documenting and publishing with regard to the prosecution of the state of California. My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and it is December 17, 2020, and I am at Ontario Town Square, where they engaged in turning off the City of Ontario Wi-Fi in order to stop me from publishing my latest podcast dated December 17, 2020. So I will be publishing that. It is replete with over 10 videos and a plethora of pictures, the planes flying directly over my head everywhere I'm located, and including helicopters as well. This is daily conduct, and this is what is the significance of documenting the public entity, any public entity engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, and understanding what that legal concept is of federal group stalking. It is a monitoring system. And it is that which is done by a state. The government is the stalker. The government is stalking you because they are monitoring you. They are monitoring you with communication devices. Okay, so this speaks to a range, a distance. It is beyond the immediate environment. So you're talking about an entire area that is engaged in monitoring you in concert, okay, simultaneously. And as you are in motion, that monitoring system in motion with you, okay? So this is that which is in operation everywhere that I go on a ceaseless basis, remaining absolutely unhindered at all times, including in any private space where you are physically indisposed. You have no privacy, and that is the sexually violent aspect of criminal monitoring, which I am also documenting and exposing and advocating with regard to prosecuting a public entity engaging in this criminal system, which is also demonic. Okay, this is the P.O.C. Again, it's December 17, 2020, and pay attention to my accompanying images and videos that accompany my that go with. They're the vital component to my audio documentation.